Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It goes in two parts. So the first part of the book is just talking about certain conditions, which are like, for example, kids that are born before January get to participate in this league, and the ones after have to wait until next year, and things like that. Those types of attitudes that we place on success and talent, like we tend to overdo it for like the people that are successful, and we're far too dismissive of those who are not successful. So in the first part of the book, there's a specific number that is mentioned, and it's 10,000. 10,000 stands for the amount of hours that was put into a craft before the opportunity came. For example, for the Beatles, the author talks about their start in a dingy strip club in Hamburg, Germany. And so they were putting in their time, putting in those hours necessary, practicing, playing, performing, and then they had the opportunity meet with that time that they had already put into it, and they became the Beatles. Same thing with Bill Gates. Bill Gates, during a time where there were not like many computers available for anybody, let alone for a teenage kid at the time, he was provided with the extraordinary opportunity to spend in a large amount of hours in a library working on a computer. And through that time, having been met with the opportunity to create something big, boom, now you have Bill Gates. What creates success in an individual is having had that practice, having had that time. And the specific number when they do research on people, like I said, the Beatles, Bill Gates, Bill Joy, 10,000 hours is the common denominator between all of them. Practical knowledge is learned through family, learned through social interaction, learned through the people you're the closest with. Not something that can be compared or scaled on an IQ test, and that knowledge can exist without having the analytical knowledge, meaning like genius type smarts, and like at 6 months was like reading and writing and composing like Beethoven type stuff, you know. So that type of stuff, that type of knowledge is categorized with analytical knowledge, and that is usually hereditary from the gene pool. You start to see that in somebody at a very young age. The first part of the book is, you know, if you work hard enough, use your mind, use your imagination, you can shape the world to your desires, directly as stated from Malcolm Gladwell. So it talks a lot about how hard work, advantages, disadvantages play the role. Of the second part of the book, which I really like, because it talks a lot about the cultural awareness, and it brings awareness to like the lineage of success, like your family line of success, the choices that they've made, the type of cultural legacy they've left, things like that. The thing that he mentions is that cultural legacies have deep roots and long lives. You know, he goes on to talk about the Korean Airlines and how many years ago they had so many accidents that they were at risk of being shut down. We all have our own personalities. Each of us has our own built-in personalities. Each of us has our own, you know, attitudes, opinions, things like that. We just have to acknowledge that overlaid over our own personalities are our tendencies, assumptions, and reflexes that are handed down to us from our cultural legacy. So those are things that we have to acknowledge. Overall, in a nutshell, people don't just rise from anything. People don't just come from the dirt and become successful. Or specific opportunities, advantages, disadvantages. The idea that, oh, well, they just got lucky. Like, no, it's that, yeah, they were beneficiaries of extraordinary opportunities, but they had the mind to take that opportunity because they put the time in their craft. Essentially what the book says is that if the world created opportunities for everyone, where there weren't so many cutoff dates for this program and that program, where we didn't just assume that this kid is smarter than this kid because they're in AP or because they rank this on the SAT or whatever the case. First off, I want to comment on the style of writing that he has. He definitely knows how to appeal to his audience. His writing style, he adds an element of humor in it every now and then so that you can really connect to his reading, and he's aware of the type of person that's more likely to read his books or read his material. So he kind of engages in a certain way where you're like, oh, okay, I get you. I know that because I'm reading another book by him at the moment, and I see where he's consistent in his style of writing to appeal to his specific audience.